Hi, I'm Stacy.
And I am Mark, and this is the Gurus and Game Changers podcast.
Hello, Gurus. Hello, Game Changers. And we're coming to you live again from Mainline Studios today. And we're extremely excited to welcome Carla Showell-Lee to the show today.
Hello, Stacy.
George, move it to Carla because I'm reading this.
Hello,
Carla's a former broadcaster, media spokesperson, reporter, and producer, working in fast-paced news and entertainment environments in the past, KYW, WRTI, Fox News, Discovery Channel, and more. She served as senior host and producer for CNN's Comcast Newsmaker, an issue-oriented news program featured on CNN Headline News. So cool. And now Carla serves as Deputy Chief Officer of Integrated Communication Programs at SEPTA. Welcome, Carla. So happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, Stacy and Mark. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well. So wait, I have to ask you a question to make sure we all understand it, because I don't. What does a Deputy Chief Officer of Integrated Communications do at SEPTA? SEPTA, for those of you who don't know, is Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. It's the transportation system of Southeastern Pennsylvania, essentially. And you are in charge of integrated communication. Just briefly, what is that?
It's a new title, really.
Oh, okay.
It's a new position. It's never been, like, we always had a communications department, but we never had a deputy. So we had someone in charge of communications. So you have the chief communications officer, and then you have the deputy chief officer. And all I really kind of essentially do is make sure that people are talking. Like, a lot of our departments, they work in silos.
Got it.
And so my goal is to always pull people out of their silos and connect the departments.
Got it.
So I really kind of advocated for this position because
tell that story. That's a great story.
Well, it was kind of like I was the director of media relations, and that position was probably my scariest career move ever, because I just was not comfortable being on that side of the camera. I was always being in the position of the two of you. I was asking the questions. So for me to actually being asked questions about an organization that I really knew nothing about was so scary to me. You think about it, a press conference, and people are throwing questions at you, all these reporters, and you're standing there. And I did that for almost 5 years. And I just finally said, you know what? This is not who I am.
So you were doing crisis communication and things like that?
Right.
That's a tough job.
Oh, it's a tough job.
I don't know how you mentally prepare to step up in front of the media knowing they're going to just shine that red light on you.
Yeah.
Eviscerate you if they can.
Well,
right?
I don't think that's their goal, but they want you to answer the questions that are
tough ones.
Are tough, right?
Yeah.
And I remember we had when I got there, we had someone who got hit by a train right at our station, right in headquarters is at 13th Street, so right below the L. Someone just stepped right out into the train, and they were killed. I mean, that was my first. That was your first media crisis. Oh my gosh! I'm looking around to say who can talk about this.
Who's going to be jumping in here?
You are the one that's going to be talking about this.
Oh my
gosh! So that was really a pivotal moment for me, and I thought, okay, this is the way it's going. And that year we had that happen. We had we had our trains had a crack in them, so we had to take 100 and some odd trains off of the system. We had that. We had the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. We had Villanova becoming champions. Like, this is Carla who has to step in front of the camera and speak on behalf of the company. I was like, I had to really learn. Yeah. It's a totally different skill set.
Baptism by fire.
It really is. It really is. And so I had to go and really I advocated for myself and talked to the CEO at the time, because they were really putting a position of chief officer of communications together. And I was thinking, well, I wonder if that's something I want to do, to become the chief. So we talked it through, and I really didn't want to do that because at the time I had two parents who were ailing in health. I have a son who's on the autism spectrum. I had so many things going on in my personal life. I have a brother who has cerebral palsy, and I knew that I didn't want a top position, but I knew that I could definitely be in a position where I could pull people in to communicate with them. So they created a position called Deputy Chief Officer of Integrated Communication Programs. And that is what I do. I initiate programs that will help really tell the story of SEPTA. So
internally?
Internally,
Tell the story of SEPTA internally to the team. How many people?
Internally, there's
talking?
9,500
9,000 people.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a lot of work. So what does a good day, if you go home and you're like, put your feet up,
Oh, gosh,
that was a good day. What happened that day?
You know, I think a good day for me would be that we did a story that really spoke to the essence of our employees, because I love telling stories. I love writing. I love communicating. I love getting to the heart of why an employee chooses the job that they've chosen to work at SEPTA. So telling those stories and working with the team, I really my team is kind of put together through I kind of inherited them. It wasn't anyone that I hired, but I love my team. It's only 2 people I have on my team, but it seems like I have a whole team of communicators within the division, though. Do you know? Because we all work together.
Right.
So that's what makes it exciting. So we really kind of carved out this little piece of the company where we can go around with our cameras and tell the stories of the employees.
That's amazing.
And that's what we do. And this is the first time that we show videos of, and we put all kinds of things together. And I'm a creative person, so we think of everything. We've done TikTok videos. We've done where we had we were trying to showcase women working at SEPTA. So we had them. The song was "Roar" with Katy Perry, and we did that song, and we had all the women, riding the train, and another woman who was riding these big trucks because they have to go out and pull the buses. It was all women in these really quote unquote men
traditionally
male roles. Yeah. So this was something that was unheard of at SEPTA. So we were able to tell those kinds of stories, and that just makes it exciting. And we can share it on social media too.
Yeah.
So we don't have to just keep it inside. We can also share it externally
too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But you have a varied career, though. I mean, you weren't always a communication executive. No. Although, like, you were in broadcasting, so I guess that could be sort of in the same realm, right?
I guess so. But see, I didn't work on the corporate side. I was behind the camera. So it was kind of like that. That's different for me. This is the first time I'm inside, kind of, stirring the sauce. Like we were out front, kind of, people telling us what to do, and then we would go out there and execute. So it was just different. I wasn't behind the scenes. I was in front of the camera, so it was very different.
That's awesome. Well, tell me sort of more about like your past career, and like, how did Carla, start out, and how did she get to where she is today? Because I know people probably want to be like you.
Well, it's funny. I knew ever since I was 9 years old that I wanted to go into broadcasting.
Really?
I really did.
You had a calling.
Yeah, I did.
That's great.
And I used to see someone like Lisa Thomas-Laurie on television. I used to say, she's so sharp and she's so put together. And the way she moved, I wanted to mimic her. So I was so excited that, when I graduated from college, by the way, I was not one of those academias. Like I didn't, say, oh, I'm going to college as soon as I get out of high school. I had to have some family members say, you better get real. You want to get a job, you better go to college. And so my uncle gave me my first $500. My sister had taken all of our money, and so I had to find a way.
What do you mean?
Well, because she goes to college 15 minutes down the road, and she was home every weekend. So all the money went into her college tuition,
career.
And then I had to figure out, well, what about me? My parents didn't think it through.
That's all right. It made you the woman you are today.
That's right. So I worked 3 jobs, and I went to community college, and I graduated from community. Well, no. I transferred from community to Temple University and graduated from Temple with a broadcast journalism degree.
There you go.
Wow.
And since I didn't have the money and had to work my way through college, I literally, what did I do? WRTI Jazz 90. I went back there and volunteered. Yes, at the same, and Jazz 90 is right there at Temple.
Jazz 90.
Yes, so I was their reporter. So I worked there for a few years, and that job gave me my first paying job at KYW News Radio.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was a production assistant being paid $5.50 an hour, and I was loving it. I was like, whoa, I have made it.
Speaking of loving it, Maria just gave us a chat. It says, love your story, so impressive. It's impressive. Wait till you hear more. There's more coming. It gets more impressive.
And Cassie says, loves this idea for a show on Market.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Tell John Rizzo that.
John is just laughing. He's back there. One of our producers.
Yeah, I mean, well, it did. It gave me my first paying job, and then I worked there, and it was the most difficult job because I worked on the morning show. Do you guys remember Pat Barnack?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Harry Donahue.
Those are classic.
This is aging us.
I know, right? I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
No, those are
Don
classic.
All the Gen
names
Zers
in
are like,
Philly.
wait, what?
Classic Philly
Yes.
names.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I was working at 4:00 in the morning till 12:00 in the afternoon. Was very, very scared of that job because they would curse you out in the newsroom.
Wait.
No, they didn't.
News is
It
brutal.
was never that.
Yeah.
But they were
Yeah.
able to, tell you off and scare you into the next level.
Yeah,
So I was
especially
the
back
production
then.
assistant. Yes, and
Yeah.
I was the
You were the
lowest person
assistant,
on
yeah.
On the totem pole.
on the totem
Oh my
pole,
gosh.
You're
right?
the punching bag, for
So
sure.
when Bill Cosby came to town, I thought that was an
Oh, yeah,
opportunity
let's talk
for
about
me.
that.
Yes, I was an opportunity for me to move from being a production assistant to his driver.
Wait,
I
what?
really moved up. Yeah.
You were Bill Cosby's driver?
So let me tell you.
This I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
This is good.
There's a show called You Bet Your Life.
I
So it
remember
wasn't the Cosby
Yes.
show, but it
It
was,
was a reboot?
Right. It was a
with him?
reboot of Groucho Marx.
Groucho
right?
Marx, yeah. Eventually Jay Leno
So,
did it.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. So here I was driving a 15-passenger van of celebrities from the airport to their hotels. And I would stand up in the airport and literally hold a sign up and say, "You Bet Your Life, Bill Cosby Show." And I was so excited about that job.
That's actually
I was.
cool.
Who would
was.
show up in your van? Who would be
Oh
in
my
your van?
goodness, Kelly Ripka.
Okay.
And she was one of the people. I'm trying to think. Oh, there was a lot of soap operas stars.
Okay.
Yes, and I didn't know them at the time.
Yeah.
But then when I looked and I saw that, oh my gosh, I was driving them. A lot of
Did you drive? Were you
nervous?
nervous driving? Like,
Oh my gosh, yes, I hit every
driving to
car.
shuttle bus. I'd be like,
I know. I hit every car. Lamp pole.
You did?
I drove up on sidewalks.
Oh
I
my
was
God, Carla.
I'd look back. It was crazy. They didn't teach you how to drive. They just told
No,
you to.
just go get him.
Just literally like
Just go get him.
going over curves.
And I would drive in my heels because my mother always said, dress for your next job.
There you go.
So I was always sharp.
Always
That's
good
mom.
advice.
And so very good advice. And that's what I did. And so that's what gave me the next position because they said, who's that person driving that van? And I would come walking in there with my little skirt on, my little heels. And that's how I became his audience
Oh my
coordinator.
God.
You, his audience coordinator.
Yes.
That's actually what I wanted to ask next
Yes.
because you were his driver for a while, but then you
Yes.
moved on to audience
Wait,
coordinator.
Michelle says Carla is an amazing, great leader, great woman, amazing spirit.
Oh, my
Is that someone you know?
goodness.
This must be someone you know.
No, I don't
Oh,
know.
really?
That's so sweet. And then Carla, they want to
They
know
already
about
have
Bill
that vibe
Cosby.
from you.
Oh, that's
They want to
Michelle.
know about Bill Cosby, Carla. They said,
Okay.
"Oh, do tell."
Okay,
Do
so
tell.
yeah.
So you became his audience coordinator. You
Yes.
in your bio and some of the info that we had on you,
Yeah.
it said you were able to creatively fill his audience 3 shows a day, 4 days a week.
Yes.
That's an astounding accomplishment.
Yes.
Seriously?
How big of an audience did he have in the
Well,
studio?
we filled it. You know why? Because we got creative and we thought,
How do you do
how
that?
about having the entire Eagles football team?
Oh,
Is that what you did?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You had the Eagles
How
come
about
sit?
have his whole fraternity come in?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That
we
is
had to think
creative.
of creative ways
Yeah.
to kind of fill those seats.
And it was free tickets.
And it was free
obviously.
tickets,
Yeah.
right? And we had VIP.
What
and
time
we
did
got-
it tape?
It would tape at 4:00 in the afternoon. We had
Oh.
2 times, 4:00 and 6:00. Yeah. Mhm,
Who,
yeah.
who treated you the best when you were just a driver? I say just a driver,
Oh
but
my
you were the low
gosh.
person. And
You know
who
what?
would you look back on and say that person could have treated me better?
I'm trying to think. We can't tell.
Come on.
You know,
She can't divulge.
But
You don't know them now.
I will say that everyone really, when they got into the van, they were more nervous about being on the show.
Oh.
So they were
They were
always.
saying we're nervous
They-
about your driving.
No, that's true
Carla
too.
goes over a
That
curve.
was true too. I mean, I would joke and kid with them. And say, this is my first time, so bear with me. They would go.
I just got my
Like a
license.
fake
what?
bottle of
Yeah,
vodka.
That's funny.
Fake.
But it taught me how to weave my way through the city because I didn't know how to. I didn't know anything about the city either. So imagine
Yeah.
taking on this job. So, but guess who came to the show, which got me my next job? Remember Ray Murray
Yes.
from Evening Magazine?
Ray Murray. We
He came
talked to
the
Ray
show.
Murray.
Did you talk to Ray
Yeah.
Murray?
Hey,
Oh
Ray.
my gosh.
What's
Hey,
up?
Ray.
You guys
You're
know Ray? I
watching.
don't know Ray.
Yeah.
Ray Murray was
That's great.
the host of Evening Magazine, and along with oh goodness, there was someone else that he hosted with. But anyway, he came to the show,
Mhm.
and I started talking to him, telling him I wanted to work in television, and I was like communicating, and it ended up that he said, "Send me your resume," and that's what I did, and
He's
that's
the
how I
best.
started working for his television production company,
Wow.
Banyan Productions.
Oh,
Banyan.
At
Banyan.
the time, it was
I
That
know
was
tons
his
of
television
Banyan
production.
people.
Do you know Banyan?
Yeah.
Banyan was
Banyan's
the bomb.
big.
Their studio in Primos,
Yeah.
Very nice.
Nicer than
Yeah.
this?
Very
Nicer than
nice.
us?
Well, no, and I have to give you props. Let me tell you something. I'm loving the
George.
couch. I'm loving this
Oh,
couch.
thank
Okay,
you.
that's
This
fair.
whole couch is very,
This
very
is our
nice.
gold
The
room
couch
set.
saves
This is the whole
everything.
room?
Mhm.
Yeah. Everyone, there's a whole crew here, guys. Just so
Yeah.
that you can't see
We
the
love our Market Live
podcast.
crew. We're live again. It's wonderful.
Yeah, this is nice.
Now we're getting off track.
No, I'm
I'm sorry.
sorry.
What was the
Where
question?
Where
I don't know.
was
It's
I
Carla's
forget.
fault.
It was my, I know. It's,
Wait, I have something.
yes.
So in all that time that
Yeah.
you were coming up in the world on broadcasting,
Uh-huh.
you said to me one time that you wanted to be a stand-up comedian.
Well, yes.
So
Well,
wait, is that because of Bill Cosby, or like did you?
No,
have any
no, no,
kind of
no.
sort of-
It really didn't. Like my comedy was kind of like in high school.
Okay.
Like I was the class clown. I was a cut up. I did some really crazy things.
Like
yeah.
what?
Changing the time of the clock back so that the teacher would think that the class was over when he walked in.
Nice.
We were like, we can't take the test because look at the time. I mean, I would crawl
Wait, how
up
did you
onto
climb
the.
up there?
Oh, please! I'm
They had those old-
5'10".
They had those. old-
I'm 5'10".
She just
You
reached up.
move and I did
In
some
heels,
really,
right?
yeah.
On the heels. Dressed
And
for
you
the
know
night
what? And it was a teacher who said, he wrote it down, and he says, you need to look into this when you're
Being a
when you're
comedian?
older. Yeah, well,
Really?
comedy. He
Comedy.
said, yeah, comedian comedy. Yeah.
Love it.
So that's how so that kind of made me think then. But it wasn't until like years later that I started thinking, well, I'm kind of funny. And so maybe I could, but then it didn't go that way.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
So how?
I was always on a serious television
That's
show.
true.
Like, I mean, you imagine?
I bet your life was really serious.
Well, You Bet Your Life.
was
It
comedy.
was
a
comedy,
comedic
but
game
it was
show.
different because I made people feel comfortable. So my comedy
Right.
Oh.
kind of
Right.
made folks feel like, oh, I can settle in. Do you know? Like that's how
Okay.
it kind of.
Did you warm up the audience also? Was that your
No,
thought?
that
Oh,
was
okay.
a guy by the name of oh my goodness, black guy. We don't even see him now. His name was Bill.
Eddie Murphy?
Bill.
Eddie
somebody.
Murphy
Bill Bixby.
warming up an audience for Bill
Bill
Cosby.
Bixby.
No, no.
Those
not
are the
Bill
Bixby. Like, well,
No, that was the
well,
Incredible
anyway, he
Hulk,
used to
wasn't it?
warm up.
sorry,
the
whoever
audience.
you were. Sorry.
He would warm up the audience. I know if you're watching, just tell me who you are. Yeah, I forget his name, but he warmed up the audience and he was excellent. He
Did
was
you
really
talk to
good.
Bill Cosby? Did you have any sort of?
I
He
did.
must
relationship
have known
with
him
him?
well as his driver.
I did. And, it's funny. Like he had his folks around him. So
Yeah,
but
his
for whatever
entourage,
reason,
yeah.
he invited me and a few other people to New York, and we had dinner in New York City. And he would bring out this wad of cash, and we would go to jazz shows, and he would give us money for the driver.
This happened
Yes.
a lot.
No, just
Oh,
about one
just
time.
about one
Yeah,
time?
just about one time. Yeah, he was like, "You're not taking all my money." No. So I mean, we just always had a
Cool.
good time. He would every now and then he would say little things that were encouraging. Do you know, like he wasn't.
Yeah, like
It just
nothing negative.
nothing
Like his dad.
negative. It was never ever in my
Purview.
with him.
Yeah.
Purview. It was never ever. I didn't see any of that.
Anything odd
No,
or
no,
out of the
no.
ordinary.
So you can imagine
That's
my
good.
shock.
Oh, you must have been shocked.
Yeah, I
Like
was gonna
years
ask you about that.
later.
Right.
When you see
Years later.
him
Yeah.
and you think, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
You never know what's happening.
Yeah. I did think, I will tell you one thing. I felt like it was a little odd. He had dark sunglasses on at dinner, sitting in a restaurant. And I used
Yeah.
to think, why?
Isn't that
You
more
know,
of a celebrity thing? Is that how you
And
wrote it off?
I don't know. I don't know. But he was always very respectful,
Yeah,
in my dealings with him.
Thank God.
But I just thought that was kind of like, take off the sunglasses, get to know us.
Yeah,
So that
maybe he
was it.
didn't.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
So yeah, so I mean, you went from there. I went from there to producing for television, and then finally landed. And I was a reporter too, and I used to report on cows and make up stories while I was on the air. It was
On
horrible.
cows?
Yeah, I mean.
Wait, there's a
'cause-
story here.
Well, I was working at a radio station called WCOJ Radio, and that was all that was out there. Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Like, what's
Where-
up?
Yeah,
what's
shout out
Pennsylvania?
Coatesville. We love you,
Coatesville.
Coatesville.
Hey,
Yeah,
I live right
Coatesville.
nearby
Right out
Coatesville.
there.
I love
WCOJ.
Coatesville.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
Coatesville. My mom actually was a gospel singer, and she was she lived out in Coatesville. But anyway, so what was out in Coatesville? That's what I reported on, and it was a very it was an interesting time period because when Bill Cosby, I made the decision to go to. That's when I had to go to dinner with him, and I made the decision to leave my job that day to go to dinner with him, and then they decided to get rid of me when I came back. So, and that's
It all
good
worked
because
out.
it all worked out
Yeah.
because I pursued some other things, and I was able to still continued
What did you go
to work in
next?
television.
Like after that?
Let's see,
cows.
what did I do after that? Gosh, I don't remember the order. I think WCOJ. Then I went to the news channel. Was a new startup television show where you read the news on the air and they turn the pages. So it was kind of reading live on the air.
Wow.
It was a very different
So like it was
concept.
a video.
It was a
video
video
of it, and then they were
yes.
just going like
and
this.
then the pages would turn. Right. Yeah.
I guess at one point that was so novel
Yes, exactly.
Right. And
And
people
it was
wanted to
with
watch it
Linfest. Remember Jerry
before
Linfest?
CNN and all of that.
Oh my gosh, we have to
Before
get her and
CNN.
DB together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
what?
There's a friend of ours that we know that
He has
you
a
guys could
network.
probably
Yeah.
talk.
Oh,
You guys would
really?
probably
Yeah,
get it
talk
off.
shop. Talk shop.
Oh, yeah. There were so many great ideas out there at that time, and some things worked and some things didn't.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that didn't work. We did it for 5 years.
Did you really?
Oh,
Yeah.
boo.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time for
It
an
was.
experiment.
It was.
Was there someone along the way that helped you and mentored you in these roles, or
So
were you
many.
just from
So many
within?
people.
Like, how did
so
you?
many people. And I think that's why, Stacey, I am so determined that whenever I step into an arena and I see opportunity, that I want to shout out names. Like
Mhm.
Michelle Histon. I told her, I said, whenever I'm in a room full of opportunity, I'm going to shout out people's names. Lugene, and, all the people that might be watching me, because I feel like someone always helped me get to the next level. So I really do want to give back. And so I mentor a lot of young girls. Young women that come into SEPTA. They come in my office, and I always make time for people because someone always made time for me. Always made time.
Do you remember
for me.
one person specifically who?
There was a woman by the name of Susan Greatorex. When I was working at the news channel, she used to butcher my stuff. Butcher it.
But
I
see,
would
that's a
be
good
writing
thing.
it, and
Yeah.
I would think it was so good, and I would give it to her, and she was an editor.
Yeah.
She would tear it up. She would just rip it up, and I would think, wait, but what you do? But she taught me how to write.
She was right.
Wow.
She
She was
taught
right.
me how to write.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was along the way. The people that were the hardest on me,
Isn't that the truth?
always.
That's why I'm
It's
hard on
always.
you.
And
all
would
the
you
time.
stop
That's
it
why
though?
you're hard.
It's like, I don't want you to be hard on me anymore,
It's for your
Mark.
own good. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, so he does it to you. And you don't do it to
We
him.
do it to each other, believe
I
me.
know. This is
I get my
like-
share.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so wild.
It's not an easy job. Someone's got to do it.
I'm so much more comfortable being on your side.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yes.
Do you wanna switch?
Yeah, I can switch. I'll be next to Mark. Yeah, let's see.
I said to Stacey before when we were talking about having you on, I was like, I feel like she reminds me of the character in Billy Joel's Piano Man, where she has this corporate job.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking to Davey, who's still in the Navy and probably will be for life, but the other guy, someday he's going to be a movie star.
Yeah.
And you live that other life,
Yeah.
and even though you left that life, it's still in there, and that's
Yes.
kind of what you want to be doing.
Yes.
So wherever you can do it for SEPTA, you're doing it.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Because it's your core.
It's your
Like
core.
whatever my core is,
Yeah.
that's
Your
what
why.
that's my
Your why.
why. That's exactly what it is. Because I'm not done yet. I feel like I'm just getting ready to begin. Like all of those things
Nice.
were supposed to be done so that I can get to this next level where I want to go. Like I feel so strongly about that. And that's what makes it exciting. That's what makes me get up every day and I go to work because I feel like this is all for a reason,
Right.
And plus my husband would kill me if I
Oh,
did.
that.
And
There's always that.
I gotta give him a major shout
Here we
shout
go.
out.
Where is he? Is he on?
I know he's watching. Albert Lee.
Come on, Albert.
And the
Do
reason-
something in the chat for us.
Like you're
Albert.
inspiring people.
He's-
Okay, I'm so inspired right now.
Nancy. Thanks,
Oh,
Nancy.
thank you,
That's
Nancy. No, because I have not worked a little bit and worked a little bit, and he has put up with those highs
Ups
and
and
lows that
downs.
are in television, as you know.
Yeah, amen to
And
that.
you do it all, and he stuck
Yeah.
by me. My longest run was with Comcast for almost 10 years. I was host of that show, and he was like, "Thank God, the woman found it up." Yeah.
So you were host
Yeah.
of the show? What was the
I
show
was
called?
hosting Comcast Newsmakers. I used to
And what was it
interview-
about?
I remember
Was it
that
like
show.
this?
Yes,
In a way?
it was.
Goodness
Well, it was a desk set
Yeah.
up, and the person would sit on the other side, and I would interview them. We would interview, no lie, like 20 people a day.
A day.
Yes, so there were 5-minute interviews.
You need to be doing this.
They were 5-minute. No, they were 5-minute interviews. 5-minute interviews.
5-minute
yeah.
interviews.
And that you would have time to sit there, jot down some notes, and they'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you say, "Hello, I'm Carla Showell-Lee, and this is Comcast Newsmakers." And the music would start.
Man,
yeah.
that was good.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what we
having
did.
a flashback, and now I remember
You
you on
remember?
that show.
So
What?
That's
cool.
insane.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
As I remembered that show when you just said it, I'm like, oh, I remember that show. And then I started getting the visual images of it, and of
That's
course,
it.
there you are.
Can
That
I-
is wild
My hair was
that
black
you're
at the
sitting
time.
here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You were great on that show.
Oh, you liked it?
You had 5 minutes to prepare for those things?
Yeah.
5-minute interviews.
5-minute interviews.
But that many
Like
in a day.
Yes.
So like,
That's impressive.
how would you think of the questions that you wanted to ask, like on the fly like that? Because that's selfish. Like,
Yeah,
I want to know
ask
for
Stacey a
myself.
question right now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The key was finding out what they wanted to, talking about what they wanted to talk about. I know he's always like,
Right?
I know, but that's okay. He
You just had a Red Bull right before the show.
Red Bull.
So.
My performance is sponsored by Red Bull.
Sean, you want to sit? You want to sit in? Oh no, we're probably not allowed to say that. Sorry, Carla. Go
I
ahead.
wish I could read. I can't.
Cassie, I could listen to you all day. Love this.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
you got great energy.
Cassie's the best.
Great
I
energy,
think
great
Cassie's
info.
commented before. I love Cassie. Thank you.
Does she chat on your other shows? Like, do you ever
I
see a
think
lot
there's
of
been
new
a Cassie
people?
who's
We've
chatted
had
on
a
other shows.
Cassie.
Oh, you have?
I hope
Thank
it's
you,
the same
Cassie.
Cassie.
Okay.
If not, we love all Cassies.
We love all.
Cassies
We're
are great.
pro-Cassie.
Anyway, back to me.
Yeah.
Back to you.
What do you think of me? No, just
No,
kidding.
that's
No,
I love
no.
when
I'm
people
wondering
do that.
like how you came up with a question for someone to ask in 5 minutes that was going to be enough to carry the.
Yeah,
interview.
you just start. If I were to interview you, and I would say, okay, what is the one thing that you want to get out during this interview?
Ooh.
And they would say what it is, and I say, well, tell me the first thing that that your organization does that would inspire other people to want to do something. You know, like it was always one thing that they would say. I would say something
Hook
else.
onto that,
hook onto that. Right,
yeah.
exactly. And the goal really was for me is to make them feel comfortable.
Right.
Because if I made them feel comfortable, then they would be able to really share without even knowing that the cameras were there. Because remember, they're going through all the things that I went through when I was sitting here. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not used to being on this side of the camera. And I was so nervous, but you both made me feel so comfortable because, you know, when you walk in here, everyone's just bouncing off the wall.
That's from the
We're
Red
all
Bull.
screaming
And I had a
in front of
coffee.
Exactly. I know. I love it. So that's what it was. It was just making them feel comfortable. By the time you got to the question, they always could deliver. Always deliver. My scariest interview was with Lou Rawls.
Lou Rawls,
oh
wow.
my gosh, Teddy Pendergrass. That was my worst. Okay, so
Teddy Pendergrass. See that?
remember Teddy Pendergrass?
Teddy.
He was in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Do you remember Teddy?
You remember?
Everybody
John remembers him.
Teddy Pendergrass.
Oh yeah.
He's sitting there like oozing, just like looking at me like this. And
What is
you
that?
know, and
What do you mean?
well,
Like he was like hitting on you?
Well, he's looking at me like this, you know, like. And so he goes, while the interview's over, he leans forward and says, I love a woman with hairy arms.
What?
Because I guess it was like, and I was like, ew, oh my
Carla.
God. That's what, yes.
That's hilarious.
What did you do? Like, don't try and get off this question. I need to hear what I need to hear what she did.
Yeah, what is the
He said
response?
that
What's an
before the
appropriate
interview started.
response?
So can you imagine my head was going,
I'd be like
okay,
this.
5, 4,
Yeah.
3.
Be pulling down my sleeves.
Well, that's what I was doing.
As far as I could.
And I just literally going, and I'm Carla Showell-Lee. You know, like I just went right into
Carla Showell-Lee.
I couldn't even remember what I was saying, but the interview went very well. He did a very good job, but it was just the.
I think he was playing with you.
Yeah, I think he was trying to unnerve
throw you off.
Yeah.
Oh no!
It didn't work though. You're a pro.
So after the interview.
So after the interview, then he wanted to talk to me, and he says, you know, I'm bringing out these Teddy jeans, and I would love for you to be a spokesperson for my company. But you know, it was just a real weird kind of conversation, and I had to go. You know,
well, there's that.
Yeah. But he was a very good interview, though. I will say. So
who else was good? Like anybody else we know?
Oh gosh. Jonsu Hunsu. Do you remember him?
I do. I forget what movie he was in.
With Leo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, did you?
Wait, he was in.
Hunsu.
Wasn't that 12 Years a Slave?
Yes.
Isn't that guy? I love that guy.
Wait, 12. Wait, no, not 12 Years a Slave.
Not him?
No, who was it? Oh my gosh! Someone chat and tell us.
Yeah, somebody tell us who. John, do you know?
I'm not pronouncing his name.
Yeah,
right.
it's close though. It's
It's
just
close.
like that.
Yes.
I thought that's
Narrowing it down, he worked in a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio.
well.
Yes.
Like everybody.
DiCaprio.
I know he was in it. He goes, he's in
Someone must know.
But he was just
Google
so amazingly good looking that I had a hard time concentrating. So
That's
you
funny.
have those kind of interviews too.
Yeah, that's John thinks he.
All right, John.
said,
Yeah.
he said I could.
That's why we keep him in the dark. He distracts our guests all the time.
I love it. That's funny. Yeah. So he was a little bit of a challenge because he was so calm. He was so calm it made me nervous.
Oh,
So you know, I'm trying to.
I've
have
been
you
there
read-
before.
haven't
Yes.
you, right?
Yes.
So you rather for people to say I'm a
You have to,
little
like,
nervous, like you
meet
just
him where he is, and then
Yes.
all of a sudden be calm.
yes, and then he started goes, "You are a very beautiful woman," and I was like,
Oh.
okay, that's going to throw me off. Okay, we're going to try to get this back.
Did you
on
show
track.
him the ring or no?
No.
Yeah. She's
I
like-
did not.
she's
I
like-
was like
around.
this. I turned it around. No, I'm just
Yeah,
joking.
yeah.
I'm
No.
joking, Albert. Oh my
No.
gosh, I'm
Albert, she
joking.
could never do that. I know
25
her.
years, sweetie. 25 years.
5 years.
That's right.
That's a high
Yes,
five.
Thank you.
That's a
Thank
high
you.
five.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay, so now I'm
Yeah,
going to kind of
where are we?
switch gears a little bit
Okay.
and just talk about challenges and obstacles because we really
Yeah.
love to talk about that here with super
Yes.
successful people because we
Yeah.
feel like our audience learns a lot from
Yes.
other people's failures or
Yeah.
other people's sort of building their way up out of an obstacle.
Yeah.
So do you have a
challenges
time
in my career that
Career,
I've been
Career,
challenged.
personal.
personally,
just-
whatever,
Some things in your way you had to overcome.
somehow push through that?
You're
I know
definitely
you've done
confident
it.
and
I think
brave.
it's really for me it's fear, my fear factor.
Just
People don't realize,
overarching.
yeah, just an overarching fear. Like I have for live television, I have a a fear of live television.
You know we're
What?
live,
Here we
right?
are. We're live right
I know,
now.
Okay.
I know, but let me tell you.
Oh, well,
Okay, so
Okay.
it's okay that I'm sitting here and being interviewed.
Oh, I
Okay,
see.
but if
The
you're
onus
listening,
is not
I
on you.
were
I get
in
it.
your
I
position
got
and
it.
it were live.
Can I tell you? Me
and-
too.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my
Thanks for
gosh.
validating me. Another high five there.
Last
Thank
week
you.
I was losing it.
Now
Yeah, you're very
why?
comfortable.
I don't know.
She's good though.
Yes, you're such a natural.
Yeah.
You're such a natural. And for me, I think because that camera looks so stoic, and I'm better having audiences
Right.
react
Right.
to me. Do you know? Like
Right.
if I'm sitting there with 9,000 people, that one person is smiling, or that person,
Yeah,
you know, that's
yeah.
a big difference than having live 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You ask my husband, I am the worst. I am the worst. I mean, when I had a press conference one time, I'll never forget it. And all they told me was, you can go out there and just read what is on the page.
Teleprompter.
Well, it wasn't even
no,
teleprompter. We were actually getting ready to have a strike at SEPTA.
Oh,
And they wanted me
That's
to go
wonderful.
out there and speak, and all the cameras were out there. And, you know, there was live. It was live.
It's
And
intimidating.
It
though.
was so intimidating. And I remember
my
all
palms are sweating. Just
yes. Well, the podium, I gripped
Hey,
it.
gripped it.
I
Death
gripped
grip
it
on
like
the
it was a
podium.
death grip. And my husband was looking at me on television. He's like, she's going to die. She's going down. She's going
I see.
And he could feel my
Yeah,
angst. And
I
I
could see
read
it.
that beautifully. And my boss said, you don't have to do anything else except read it. But we were supposed to have a lawyer come in and answer
answer the questions.
because it was going to be in the injunction for the strike and whatever. And as soon as someone said, wait, before you leave, can we just ask one question?
Oh boy.
One question. And I just looked and everything slowed down. It was slow motion. I looked at him and it was like, what? And he literally, no lie, he goes, yeah, she can answer one question. And I was like, whoa. And I remember thinking, and my mind just went blank. I couldn't think
Did
of
they-
anything to say.
What was the question?
It was, how long do you think this strike is going to last? And how long do you think? And it was something that I could not answer. And I remember in that moment just trying to find words. And I wanted to die. I wanted the floor to open up and just
Did
have me
someone
go
jump
right
in and
there.
help you? What
Well,
happened?
he finally, because he could see the fear in my face, he goes, you know what? And he stepped so casually right in front of
Who?
me. It was my boss. I'm going to out him right now. Frank
Uh-oh.
Kelly.
Frank
Frank
Kelly?
Kelly. Well, he knows. Well, if he ever sees that, he knows because I shared it with him. Because he knows that he owes me big time to this day because he was the
I
one.
told you there would be no question.
That's right. You told me. You lied to me. You let me down, brother. You let me down. So yeah, that's what happened. He stepped
So,
in
like,
and he spoke for me.
Have
Yeah.
you gotten away from
No.
that fear? You still
No,
have
I
it?
still have it. And I don't know if it's and I don't know what it is. I don't know why I can't get past it. I can do Comcast Newsmakers because it's live to tape.
Okay.
That's okay, because knowing that I can mess up and they can start over,
Yeah.
but knowing that it's live,
Right.
that's something
It's a
about
different
that.
animal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a different
for sure.
animal. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know that it's fear for you. I think
Is it
you're
not?
projecting it as fear, and it's just nervousness,
Is it
anxiety.
just
Because you're
So it's
you're not
anxiety.
afraid of it's not the unknown for you. So
right?
it's more just an anxiety about I want to perform.
But
it's a nervousness
a subject that I
doing
don't
right.
know anything about. You know, you think about it, like I don't know a lot about SEPTA's, inner workings. At the time, they didn't have something called
True.
subject matter experts.
True.
You know, you were supposed to go out there and speak on behalf of the company, and you rarely could find people that wanted to speak in front of the camera.
Right.
So by being on this side as deputy chief officer,
Yeah.
now I do media training.
That's
So
what I was
that
going to say.
yes.
Now you train people.
Yes. Well, I hire someone outside the company to come in
Okay.
and train our subject matter experts because they know the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going to throw me out there? I mean, I can do the little things, but on bigger things, that I'm not that person. I'm not that person.
I think you're being very self-deprecating.
Well, okay.
I really do.
Okay.
I
Maybe
do.
I need to get past
Yeah,
that.
I do. Because
Well,
you know
I
it.
thank you. I thank you for that. But I think communication, I can talk
Okay.
all about that. I can talk about makeup. I did that for 30 years.
Oh,
you know?
right. So you were a Mary Kay. So tell me about that whole.
Well, I did Mary Kay along with my
Yeah.
television career, which is crazy. And I have to tell you this funny story. So when I was coming here, I said, I want my lips to have a little pop to them. So I went to the store and I bought something that would just give me a little bit of a gloss. And everybody could see my
That
lips.
looks nice.
Yeah, thank you. Well, guess what? Didn't know that this is eyeshadow on my lips. There is liquid eyeshadow out there. I didn't know there was such a thing called liquid eyeshadow. And I thought I was an in the know girl. No, I did not know that. So my lips are so dry right now. Oh my gosh.
Is this after you were a very successful Mary Kay? This is after that? So you had like the pink Cadillac and you put liquid eyeshadow. Okay.
On my lips, that's right. And I'm owning it. Because this is the year of owning it.
She owned it.
That's right. Because I don't want anybody saying out there, does she have eyeshadow on her lips?
No one is going to say that.
I'm just saying.
You're a trendsetter. That's what it was.
I'm going to say yes.
Yes.
If you don't know, you better catch up, girl. Catch up.
Marie says you're great on air.
This is all,
thank you.
This is all the rage.
Thanks,
You are.
Marie. Thank you, Marie.
That's my middle name, Marie.
I love the fact that it can pop up like that and people can just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there it is.
Ooh, you guys are so fancy.
So Mary Kay. So how did you get into
Mary
Mary Kay?
So
fancy here.
He's laughing about it.
George is laughing.
So Mary Kay, I started when I was 25 years old. My mother introduced me to it. She was
Is that even around now?
Yes. I still use
why
their
don't
products.
Why don't we hear from them anymore?
Well, we do. It's just that you have to schedule a skincare class. You need a consultant.
Okay.
Like if I were still selling it, I would be like, Stacey, let's set up a skincare class, and that's, let's.
Here at Mainline Studios, we totally do that.
You could totally do that.
Do you
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Well, sure we could.
Oh, yeah.
If you still want to do it.
Well, no, I don't sell it
yes.
anymore,
Yeah.
but yeah.
The whole model just changed.
Always
all
trying
around
to
them.
This
find
is
an
the first
opportunity.
time. I will tell you, this is probably the first time I've had one job. I've always,
Love that.
one job. I've always worked
You always
2,
work
3
multiple.
jobs. Yeah.
So
my
what did it
entire
look
life.
like being the Mary Kay? And you were really successful.
Oh my goodness. I loved it. I loved it because I love teaching women how to take care of their skin. I love teaching women how to apply their makeup. And it was just always where you see the one that's the most quiet and you see the transformation of her. That is just
That's
like
awesome.
heaven. That is just like when she comes out of herself and she's looking in the mirror. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
that is just exciting. It is because, you can see her growing out of herself. I guess that's the same thing I should do with my fear factor, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Well, it's easier when you have,
When somebody else.
someone else.
No,
Yes,
amen to that.
exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I recruited over 30 some odd women into the company, but my customer base was like 200 and some odd customers in Mary Kay.
And you got the Cadillac, right?
Oh no, the first car you get is the red Pontiac Grand Am.
Okay.
And then you get a Grand Prix, and then you get the pink Cadillac. So I was selling about 8,000-9,000 a month, where you can kind of recruit other people, and that can boost your levels. So I got lavish gifts, I got trips, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So how did all that Mary Kay stuff prepare you for what you're doing now?
I think it was such a smart move. I was kicking and screaming coming into the company because the only reason I joined Mary Kay was because I needed a new car. I was driving Toms
That's
my
great.
entire life.
That's why you're doing.
I love the optimism. It was hard to get that car.
It was hard to get that car, but
I
I knew I wanted that car, and I was determined to get that car. Imagine no insurance and no car payment, and it's brand new. You literally drive on a lot, and you get the keys to a brand new car. No lie.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I mean, it was just an exciting time. But so
because you had the car, you could drive to the other interview.
Oh, that's right. Exactly. I think my Mary Kay career, though, I'm going to say it out loud. I think my Mary Kay career stopped me from staying as a producer for Banyan Productions, because I think they knew that I had another little gig on the side.
Right.
So I think they were kind of like, oh, well, she's got that Mary Kay thing going on, so she's going to be good, because they only had me there for 1 season.
Oh,
and I love that job. I love Ray. What happened?
Make a phone
Ray?
call.
Yeah, make a phone call. But I love that job.
Yeah.
Because I love.
He's a great guy. They're
he
really,
is.
really kind people.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Everyone I
and
know
Kelly
from there.
was his wife at the time.
Okay.
And she was the one who hired me. Yes.
Wow.
Yep. She was the one who hired me. So,
That's
so yeah,
wonderful.
so that's what
So
I.
then, so you were doing the Mary Kay thing, and you left Banyan, and then
Yes.
there was other stuff in between, and then you went to SEPTA.
Yes, right. Comcast. Then I was the chief officer of communications at the Upper Marion Township building. Yes, I was working there.
Okay.
Well, because once I got laid off at Comcast, because they let go of 360 people,
Oh, wow.
I was thinking, this is great. My kids were still young at the time. And I was like, you know what? This will be good. I was so happy the day they laid all of us off. They literally went into a room. This is how they did it. We were in a room, and they had the 3 locations. It was Philadelphia, Delaware, and New Jersey.
Right.
And we could see the New Jersey folks on screen, and we could see the Delaware folks.
Ooh.
The HR people were in the room with us. And their hands were crossed, looking at themselves, telling us that we lost our jobs.
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
the strangest thing.
That's bizarre.
It was the strangest thing.
Yeah.
But what happened, I was going around high-fiving everybody. I was very happy that I was going to be home. But I didn't stay home long because I became a consultant for UMGA TV, which is a local television station in the area I grew up. That was Upper Marion, King of Prussia. And so that's what I did. I started working there, and I started a show called On the Move. And I did that as a consultant.
I don't understand how you're still not in this biz
I
and how
loved
you
it.
got over to SEPTA. Like, tell me how.
So yeah,
how that
so then
happened.
I worked there, and then I got a phone call while I was there for 7 years. I got a phone call, and it was at the time where I was just ready to make a change because I was, working there, and I just kind of said, "Oh, there's something else I'm supposed to do. What else am I supposed to do?" And I got a phone call, and they said that the director of media relations, Jerry Williams, is leaving SEPTA, and she's looking for a replacement. And I got a call from my girlfriend at Channel 6 News and said, would you like to apply for the position? That's how quickly it happened. Jerry, I used to interview on the show, Comcast Newsmakers. Comcast Newsmakers. And she was the one who hired me.
That's wild. So it sounds like you've never had to sit down at the time, pack resumes into envelopes, send them out. It's all because you're personable, gregarious, talk to people.
I was crazy. That's what I was just saying. I know that's what you want to say.
No, I think it's a very positive thing because I don't think people do that enough now.
Yeah.
And I try to tell my son that all the time. You need to talk to people. Talk to the people around you. You never know when they're going to reach out years later and give you a job that you love.
That's right. And I was shy. I want people to know that my personality that you see now is developing because I was watching other people. Do you know? I would watch people that had that big personality, and I wanted that. So I would go home and practice. For me, it was Lisa Thomas Laurie. So that's what I would do.
Wow.
So I was not always like that. I'm telling you, I had to find my voice in high school, and then college is where I really found it and had a good time. It was fun. It was fun. My life is so blessed. It really is. It really is. And when I say I'm on the crux of something, it's because I want to eventually write for television.
Right. Like, can we talk about your script?
We can talk a little bit about it.
Like just a tiny bit?
No, I'm only joking.
Because we don't want anyone to steal your idea.
No. I think that there is a television show that has never been written before. And I think that I want to be the one to bring it to fruition. I know I can't tell too much because my husband literally goes, why do you tell so many people? And I said, because it's my story. So the story that I'm going to tell is my story of a person working in transportation.
Yes.
There's no one that can tell that story other than me because it's my life. So that's why I know that it can't be stolen because number one, God gave it
they don't
to me.
have that insight.
That's right. God gave me that story. So the reason I went through all those things is because I was supposed to land this job at SEPTA so that it would
you could write the story.
That's funny.
Yes.
Could it be like a Parks and Rec type?
Well, see, and I don't know whether or not I wanted a dramedy.
Okay.
Which is a comedy drama kind of thing, or do I want a sitcom?
Right.
Because I look at all of them. I look at Mary Tyler Moore's show. I look at Friends. I look at I look at the shows that were really successful to see what was the combination. Was it the cast? Was it the script? Was it the innovation of the show? Yeah. And I say, for my show, it's going to be all those things. I want a great cast.
Rizzo, you're hearing this, right?
I do want.
We have more than one producer in the room right now.
I really.
John just said we need to talk.
We need to talk.
Yeah,
okay, John. Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk.
And Lisa's saying she loves the show. Please do more. Oh, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Isn't
that awesome?
Yes.
Thanks,
That's a testament to you two.
Yeah.
I told you were a good combination. Remember
another high five.
You're my work wife.
Remember the one I watched, which was with Emma?
Yeah, Emmy.
Emmy.
Oh, Emmy was wonderful.
I love that one.
She was
because
awesome.
Your banter, and I folks know this.
That's
your
what Carla
banter-
told me.
Did you tell Mark?
No, I don't know if I told you.
What'd you say?
Because I don't want him just doing a show with just our banter.
Oh yeah, no,
no,
I know.
okay.
Oh, our banter?
Well, the
That's
banter
funny.
before the show
The
was
intro.
the intro
Yes.
was before she came on, and I thought that was just really good.
That's
It
all
was
very real.
It was very real.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Sometimes we can make each other laugh. Sometimes we make each other angry. Sometimes, that's a very real.
Let me tell you, but
Yeah, we had a fight the other day, and Eric's
We
like,
did.
"Uh-oh, the band's breaking up."
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Yeah, but we weren't fighting like
No.
we weren't like
We're
fist
good.
fighting. Yeah.
But you
But
wonder
enough about
though-
us.
We, yeah.
But you
It's
wonder
Carla's
though-
show.
Oh, Carla, you're still here. I'm sorry.
But don't you look at the fact that like you're a combination now? But what if you wanted to break off one of you?
Oh no, we can't.
Yeah, okay. Just
That's not
wondering.
gonna. Don't you
I
try,
gotta call my
Don't
agent.
you
It's off. It's off. Don't do it.
George.
Don't make the call.
Don't let him. That's not good. Don't let him call.
Sure.
Wait, by the way, I'm with your husband on
Yeah.
the don't tell too many
Yes.
people your story.
Yeah.
100%.
She
'Cause
won't. She
They
won't.
could still steal it
Yeah.
and do a knocked off version of your story that
You're
you're
right.
not going to be happy about
You're right.
because it's happened way too many times with products,
Yes.
for sure,
But I
and
will
with
say,
stories.
the person
But tell
I want
us.
to wait.
No.
Did you hear what he said? He goes, but tell us.
Still.
Do you know Bill Burr? I
Bill.
definitely want him to be a part of this.
Love it.
I think.
Oh my
Shout out
God.
to
I
Bill
want
Burr.
a bit part
Bill
in your
Burr.
show because I love Bill Burr.
Do you?
I want to be the wacky neighbor
Do you want to be the
or
wacky?
the annoying neighbor.
It's about you again. Stop making it about
Wait
you.
a second. I'm not
This is
done.
the Carla show.
No, because look, I'm going to need characters, and you could come to the,
Okay, thank you.
be that
I appreciate
character
that.
that kind of pops
You can
in.
play my wife.
You could be like
Oh
Kramer.
my God.
But yeah.
Carla,
I'm sorry.
how did you grow up? Were you were you the oldest in your family?
I
Were
was
you
the middle child.
What was your family life like? Can we get to the
Yeah,
origin story? Like I
sure,
love origin
absolutely.
stories.
I grew up in a very Huxtable-like family. No,
Really?
just joking. I mean, but no,
funny.
my family was the bomb. I had a really
That's
good.
wonderful.
I had a really good family upbringing. My mom and dad were not the parents that were overbearing,
Mhm.
which I think it's weird because my mom was a Philadelphia school teacher for 30 some years, and my dad worked at GE as a jitney driver. They never talked about school with us. They never said good grades and do this.
Really? Yeah. I don't think my parents did either.
I
That
do
was
it
back in
every
the
day
day. They
to
didn't
my
even
son.
know I was in school.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Grading
Sorry,
on?
Mom. Did you even
Yes.
know? I don't know. Like, no, just kidding. You did know. You were very good. But you did
know.
pack my sandwiches and throw like an orange right on top of it.
Oh, something you never
I love
forget.
it.
Come on, Mom.
Skinny little bologna sandwich.
Bologna?
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, go ahead.
I-
Back
Yeah, I
to
thought it was about
Carla.
Carla.
So sorry. She's making me so comfortable that I'm just literally
I
like.
can do
talk-
this. I
you
can.
did
You're
it.
good. You're like a host.
How did you flip
That's
it?
what I could flip.
Back to
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
You were the oldest?
I was the middle child.
Middle child.
I had
So
an
you had an older sister and a
I had
younger sister.
Younger brother. Yes.
Younger
Mhm.
brother,
Yes.
okay.
Younger brother. My brother has cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And my sister, she was in fashion design. She passed away for breast cancer.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Recently?
Mhm. No, not a few years
While
back.
ago?
Yeah, a few years back. Yeah. But she
I'm
was
sorry.
always, she's the one who kind of, coordinate your balloons and make
Yeah.
sure, your jewelry and everything is
Yeah.
popping. And
Yeah.
she was that person for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and my mom was that way too. My mom was very
Fashion
fashionable.
oriented?
Yes. So was my grandmom.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Did
came
your
from
mom
a-
and dad work? Or did your mom work outside of the home? Or was
Yes.
she? Yeah.
Yeah, my
Teacher?
mom's a school teacher.
Oh, she was a school
Yeah,
teacher,
she
and
was a
your
school
dad was
teacher.
in the jitney.
Yes, the
Okay,
jitney driver at
okay.
GE.
At
yes.
GE.
And they both worked for 30 some years in their respective careers and retired early.
From
my
the
mom
same-
retired 55 years old.
Wow.
My dad retired at like 60.
Wow.
So they had all these years.
All those years, yeah.
And they invested their money really well.
Wow.
too. Yeah.
For them.
Good
Great
job,
role
Mom and
models.
Dad.
Yes, good role models. Good role
That's
models.
wonderful.
But of course, they gave it all to my sister and all went to hell.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Good role model for your sister.
So they're telling us we have to wrap soon. So I want
yeah.
to
We have
make
to
sure
wrap.
I ask you, Carla,
Yes.
like, what's next for you?
Yeah.
Is there anything that we can do for you here on the show?
Oh my goodness.
That we can connect you
That's
or do
so-
something or, just.
Oh my goodness. I really, it's funny. I was thinking of people that could come on your show. That
Oh,
would
that's
be
cool.
really good guests.
That's about me. I want to help you.
Oh, okay.
Stop
well,
doing
I
that.
know. Okay. All right. I'm flipping it. Okay. You know what? Just spread what you're spreading. I mean, this is such a good karma show. Like have it makes you feel good being on the set. It really
Aw.
does.
That's wonderful.
a
Thank you.
testament to the both
Thank
of you.
you.
You know,
Just real quick, you want to talk about Evolver House at all? Because I know you're
Oh,
heavily involved
yeah.
in that.
talk about
Evolver House?
The Evolver House?
the Evalor. The
Oh, I said it
See?
wrong.
You said it wrong.
Evalor.
Evolver House. I'm sorry.
I knew it. I was just going to play
it's
along.
fair.
with the-
So
Yeah.
let me just read real quick. This is what it's It's an organization that empowers and educates young women of color impacted by chronic adversity, violence, and oppression. The word chronic stood out to me.
Yeah.
What is chronic adversity? What is that referring to?
It's continuous. Like they come
Systemic?
from real trauma.
So personal
And there's
trauma,
yes,
not
personal
necessarily
trauma.
socioeconomic trauma,
Right.
not necessarily. So it's
It could be a
domestic.
combination of a lot of
It's
things.
a lot of things.
Yes,
Got
a
it.
lot of things.
Got it.
And I joined the organization because Cheryl Wadlington, who is the executive producer, or I should say executive director of the organization. I know.
It's because we're on the show, yeah.
I know. She started this she's going to be celebrating 20 years next, is it next summer? I believe.
Wow.
Next summer, yeah. And she got me into the organization because of the fact that I just have a love of young people
Yeah.
and wanting them to excel at what they do.
Yeah.
Really. I mean,
That
and it
is
just
clear.
these young girls are just, you know, when you pour your heart and soul into another human being, they want that. You know, they it's just
And
like
it feels good for you
Yes,
too,
oh
because
my
you're helping
God,
them. Yeah, you almost feel guilty.
absolutely.
Yeah, because you're like, this feels really good for me to
I
help. You know,
know,
yeah,
all
but it
the
is.
time.
It's so good.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I just remember where I was, you know, and I didn't have
Yeah.
trauma in my life. I had a really, you know, supreme life. I like childhood, I should say. I didn't have all the issues that they have. So, you know, they just want to be directed. They wanted to be guided. They want to be loved. So that's what we do in the organization. So we have workshops in the summer, and we try to think of things that we can do to empower them, to make them think that you in your little brown skin and black skin, that you are somebody special. You have
I love
superpowers
this.
beyond
Love that.
what you see in front of you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What's the
beautiful.
website? Where can they go? Where can people go to learn more?
Evalor, oh goodness, oh gosh, don't give
Just
me
that-
Google Evalor.
Evalorhouse.org?
Yes, evalorhouse.org. I
Evalorhouse.org.
believe.
EVELOR. We'll put it in the show notes.
L-U-E-R.
L-U-E-R.
It's not
Oh,
spelled
okay.
the way you would
Lyre,
think. Yeah,
like
it's
French.
yeah, but I think she spells
Lyre.
it L-U-E-R.
Awesome.
Yes, I should know this. I'm
Wonderful.
apologizing.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, I could talk to you all
Yeah,
day.
this
No,
has
I
been
can
great.
talk to you
We're not
all
allowed.
day.
We need to get off air.
I know.
Sorry.
The problem with live is it
This
ends.
is so, I know, right? This went fast.
I told
It
you it
did.
would.
Yeah.
It would.
I told
know
you
it
you
was
would.
great.
Thank you for making me feel so comfortable.
Thank you for
on this side
coming.
of the couch.
It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Yes,
I loved our
pleasure
time
meeting
together.
both of you. Thank you, Mark.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Stacey. And thank you out there for watching.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching.